There are few things more exciting for political writers who cover electoral, or horse race, politics than a thrilling presidential primary season. Democrats and Republicans occasionally work together by engaging in exciting battles for party endorsements, see 2008. However, occasionally voters from both parties quickly unite behind frontrunners, see 2000. Looking at the current party dynamics, 2024 may end up being one of, if not the most, dull primary cycles in the previous 50 years. Everything is flexible. Even though unexpected changes can occur, it's difficult to deny the reality of the situation as it stands right now. Let's start on the Democratic side, where President Joe Biden is anticipated to declare his candidacy for re-election as early as Tuesday. Since 1980, no incumbent president who was on the ballot has lost a state primary. On March 3, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. delivers a speech at St. Anselm College's New Hampshire Institute of Politics in Manchester, New Hampshire. Biden doesn't appear to be in a position to end that run at this time. He hasn't drawn any opponents who, by most standards, would be regarded as serious. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Mary Ann Williamson have never been elected to public office. Williamson's 2020 presidential campaign was unsuccessful. Kennedy solicits votes from an electorate that has been vaccinated overwhelmingly against COVID-19, while promoting debunked conspiracy theories about the safety of vaccines. According to the scant polling conducted thus far, Biden has a significant lead over Williamson and Kennedy. More significantly, very few Democratic elected officials have shown anything other than loyalty to a Biden campaign in 2024. For a few factors, that is crucial. First, at this point, polling and primary endorsements are equal predictors of primary success. Second, it is true that Democratic primary voters have indicated to pollsters that they would be willing to listen to a credible Biden opponent. After all, the president would begin a potential second term at the age of 82. However, nothing from nothing, as Billy Preston famously sang, leaves nothing. If no one with support within the party runs, the polling supposition is meaningless. Democrats give Biden a high approval rating, which is in line with previous incumbents who easily won re-election. Therefore, it is unlikely that Democratic voters will object if they must back Biden for a second term. Former President Donald Trump is in the best position to win the GOP nomination on the Republican side in a very long time. I can't think of a single recent trustworthy national or early voting state poll that gives Trump anything less than a big league lead over both declared and potential 2024 opponents. In national surveys, he frequently scores around 50%. On Tuesday, July 26, 2022, in Washington, D.C., the former U.S. President Donald Trump gives a speech at the America First Agenda Summit of the America First Policy Institute. Trump's comments follow a House hearing in which it was revealed that he had watched helplessly and even vindictively for hours, as a crowd of his supporters clashed with police and chased lawmakers through the Capitol's halls. It's extremely uncommon for someone to be polling at that level at this early stage and not win the nomination, so this 50% is crucial. The only candidates who finished close to, at, or above 50% in early national polling were Bob Dole in 1996, George W. Bush in 2000, Al Gore in 2000, and Hillary Clinton in 2016. Clinton was the only one who lost more than a few primary elections, and all four of them were able to win the nominations with relative ease. You need to look at primaries where an incumbent was running for office to see an example of someone polling like Trump is right now and then losing the party nomination. Despite easily outperforming President Jimmy Carter in the polls at this point in the cycle, Ted Kennedy lost the 1980 Democratic primary to Carter. It's possible that since Trump is the first former president to actively seek a presidential nomination in over 80 years, the early national polling means less than it normally does. Nevertheless, Trump has more advantages than just the national polls. One reason is that his early state-level polling appears to be the best it has in a while. In a hypothetical Granite State GOP primary, he leads Ron DeSantis by 20 points, according to a University of New Hampshire poll released last week. In January, he was 12 points behind the Florida governor. This polling is supported by endorsements from elected officials, something that eluded Trump in his initial presidential campaign in 2015. After winning his first primary election during the 2016 cycle, Trump did not receive his first one from a governor or member of Congress. Trump already has more than 60 endorsements from governors and members of Congress this time around. At this stage in the cycle, candidates who have amassed comparable numbers of gubernatorial and congressional endorsements since 1980 have all gone on to win their party's nominations. On March 30th, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis gave a speech at the Adventure Outdoors Gun Store in Smyrna, Georgia, as part of his book tour. As the Florida governor attempts to recover from early setbacks, DeSantis's allies prepare for a financial show of force. What Trump has accomplished in Florida is the most impressive. If DeSantis decides to run, he would be by far Trump's most significant opponent. In early state polling and average national polling, he is the only candidate to reach double digits. However, before even setting foot in Florida, Trump had already won the support of the majority of the state's Republican representatives to the U.S. House. Some of those supporter endorsements, like that of Representative Matt Gaetz, are predictable. Some of them are well known, like Rep. Byron Donalds, who gave DeSantis his introduction at his 2022 re-election victory party. Like Biden, Trump appears to have the support of the Republican Party, and a sizable portion of Republican voters working in his favor. The first season would have appeared to be much more interesting if those two were competing against one another. We therefore have a recipe for primary success for both the current president and the president he succeeded, barring any significant changes.